Coming up next on Prime, a closer look at how continuing care retirement communities are turning senior living into active living. We'll explore this distinctive approach to sensational retirement living. Prime starts now. Hi, I'm Bill Pemberton, and welcome to Prime. Today we're pleased to welcome John Spooner with Greystone Communities and Charlie Brewer with Senior Quality Lifestyles Corporation. They're here to discuss the amazing evolution of senior living. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Well, John, let's just jump right in. We're talking about CCRCs. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the history of CCRCs and how they came to be.
All right. First, let's start with what the CCRC acronym means. It stands for Continuing Care Retirement Communities, and it means it's a living option that has multiple levels of living. It might be cottages, it might be apartments, it might be assisted living, it might be memory support, it might be nursing care, all wrapped up into one. This industry started about 100 years ago and has evolved greatly to its current status, and starting from one small community that was religiously affiliated in California, it's now grown to just under 1,900 across the United States. Many of them still have religious roots, but many are done by social organizations or community service groups. By far, the supermajority of them are not-for-profits, done for social purpose, social mission, service to the community. And the distribution of communities across the United States is growing every day.
Interesting. Well, they're obviously catching on. Could you give us an idea about how many CCRCs there are in the country today?
Well, there's about 1,900, and there's a weighting of them that tend to be toward larger cities, of course. And as they grow in popularity, the number of them has doubled since about 1985-ish.
Wow.
And so the growing population, we all talk about all the time, the age waves of seniors coming into the population are driving this really attractive lifestyle.
Interesting. Well, one might imagine with that kind of popularity that there's a lot of drivers and a lot of reasons why CCRCs have become as popular as they are. What is the thinking and what is making them so popular today?
I think there's three things that I look at. Each has a certain importance. The home has always been a central factor of American life. An investment for a family, their home, is usually the largest investment they ever make. As a family grows, as you have kids, the home is the core. The home is the castle. But at some point in time, the kids go away to college, the kids get married, they have their own kids, and the parents are left with a home that was made for a much larger family. The home, which has been the castle for a long time, becomes all of a sudden an increasingly larger burden. All the things that they've had to do that have been easy over time, that house is aging just like the people are aging that live in it. Becomes more problematic for them. Air conditioning repairs, foundation repairs, new roofs, things like that become increasingly troublesome. Things that were easy and fun before, like lawn care, those things become a burden. The second thing I look at is seniors as they age, they've raised their families, now their kids have kids. One thing they don't want to do is think about being a burden to their children. They're looking for something to do to continue their independence, but not to be a burden to their families. They do not want to drop that on their kids. Senior living, that's where retirement communities, I think, are so beneficial. The third area is perhaps the most important, and that's the socialization aspect. As people age, as they retire from their work, the social aspects of what they do are reduced each time. As you age, you're less mobile. When you get around, you're less likely to get in your car and drive someplace. You don't go and socialize like you once did. Wellness studies have shown us over the years that socialization is a very large part of successful aging. The more people you can be engaged with, the more things you continue to do. You're physically healthier, you're mentally more balanced, you feel better. And when a family, a couple or a singles move into a retirement community, that gives them a whole new group of people. They've retained the families, the family relationships. They've retained their friends, but they've got a whole bunch of new people. They have shared experiences, and they can begin to engage in things if they play, whether they play golf, whether they play bridge, They like artwork. No matter what they do, there's a number of people there available all the time to engage with. That socialization continues. It's very important.
A lot of good reasons. A lot of good reasons. Well, Charlie, you're CEO of SQLC, Senior Quality Lifestyles Corporation. Tell us a little bit about how you wound up being CEO of a group of senior living communities. How did that come about?
I never planned it, that's for sure. And he had something to do with it probably a long time ago. But my training, I'm an attorney. And for much of my career, I've been what's called a turnaround guy. I go to troubled companies, get hired by stakeholders, bondholders, creditors, to go in, take over a company, dismiss management, and then help decide whether we reorganize that company or liquidate it. And when we do that, then I move on to another one. About 1997, I was running a large company here in Dallas, felt like the company was beginning to wind down, felt like I had some time and wanted to do something to benefit my community, give something back. Called a friend of mine who was managing partner of a large Dallas law firm and said, find me something to do. He called a couple of months later, introduced me to these guys, said there's an opportunity here to put together a group of board members to establish a community in Dallas that would be something that we would be very proud of. I went out and found some other board members, and that was the kind of the genesis of Edgemere, which was our first community. And we worked with Greystone. I met John. I met some of the other senior executives at Greystone. We put together a plan. We went to financing and got some tax-free bond financing, built it, and then the plan for my board members and myself was to get it open, get it full of residents, and then we would exit stage right, leave the legacy behind, felt like we'd given something back. Right. What happened at that point in time was that we got it open, it was doing well, and Greystone came and said, hey, we've got a community in Houston that is struggling a little bit. It's a for-profit. We can't get it financed. Would you consider doing a second one? I talked to my board, and they said, yeah, this was kind of fun. Let's try it, maybe do it again. We took over that project. We opened Edgemere in December of 2001. We opened the Buckingham in June of 2005. Before we even got it open, they came and Greystone came back again and said, there's another one. It's in Austin. There's a board there that's been put together, but they feel like maybe they could use some additional expertise, some additional experience. I went down and met with them. The chairman was Coach Darrell Royal from the University of Texas fame. He was the chairman, and I met his board, and a month later they called and said, would you come down? We'd like for SQLC to take over the project. We took their board and combined it with ours. I became the chairman, Coach Royal became the vice chairman, worked with Coach very closely for 2 years, and opened a project in June of 2007 called Corinthia.
Well, that's fascinating. You know, I wonder if we might briefly, we're going through some of the graphics here. This is Corinthia we're looking at here.
It is.
Tell us a little bit about, how you try to be distinctive in each market.
We try to, when we go to a community, take one of our communities into a new market, we look at the cultural aspects of the community, we look at the architectural aspects, and we try to blend those together so what we bring to that market fits very nicely into what they're doing. Austin, for example, was a very active, very energetic market, led by Coach Royal. Coach Royal and his wife were our two of our first residents to move in. They're very politically advanced. They are involved in things. They've done a lot of things at Austin that maybe they're more politically motivated than some of our other communities. Right. So it gives them a number of people who are like-minded, and they take on all kinds of different projects.
That's fascinating. One of the things that every business is dealing with now is a little bit of an uphill economy, and families are dealing with that as well. Maybe, John, you could lead off and tell us briefly, running a little short on time here, but tell us a little bit about why is moving to CCRC a smart move in a tough economy?
Well, the easiest and biggest answer is that humans of any age are hardwired for certainty. And by giving up or changing their residence from a house to a senior living community, they can get knowledge about where they're going to live, care if necessary, when necessary, what their costs are going to be today, on the day they move in, and long-term, if they ever need long-term care. Those things are really valuable, and they are consistent or congruent with the values of seniors.
The more uncertain the economy, I would say the more important those things are.
Yeah.
That certainly makes a lot of sense. I guess everybody faces the decision between, do I stay at home or the senior, do I stay at home? The adult child, do I keep my parent at home, or do I put them in a CCRC? Talk us through a little bit about how that plays out and what the pros and cons are there.
Okay. First of all, I'd say that virtually 100% of all the people that choose a continuing care retirement community choose it without input of the children. The children are part of this. It's important to them, but the seniors are making this decision on their own. They're doing it for the right reasons. They want to have a plan. They don't want to be a burden, as Charlie talked about. They want to know what the future holds, and that is a driver.
Good. Would you add anything to that?
I would only tell you that having done this since December when we opened Edgemere, I go each year and meet with the resident council, our governing boards for each one of our communities. I'll sit down, have dinner with them, and allow each one of them to stand up and kind of tell us what they think. The one thing that comes across in every one of those, people stand up and say, I wish I'd done this 5 years earlier. And that's kind of the validation for my board in terms of us thinking we're doing the right thing, is we wish we'd done it sooner. It's very compelling.
Hear that a lot. Well, that's interesting. Well, let's talk a little bit about the future of CCRCs. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes, and maybe you gentlemen could just tell us a little bit about where it goes from here. We've got an aging population, a lot of factors going on. People are needing to be productive for longer. Tell us a little bit about what maybe we could be looking at in the future in CCRCs.
I think Charlie and I are like-minded on this, but the huge age wave of population is still coming. The baby boomers and all that, while they still might be a decade or so away from moving to a CCRC, the large demand for quality, secure, social, comfortable, known environments is really important.
Right.
So I think I said earlier that the industry has grown by a factor of 2. It will continue to grow at that pace probably in the foreseeable future for the next 15, maybe 20 years.
Interesting.
Let me see.
Sure.
I would say it's evolving too. It's changed in the 14 years I've been involved. It's changed the fabric of the communities, the way they're set up, the way they're designed. What people want is changing significantly. It's changing with the design of what people are demanding these days. The baby boomer generation is they have a better idea of what they want. They said, we don't necessarily want what our parents wanted. We want something different.
So they're taking control of the situation. Just like the Starbucks generation, they're going to have it their way, and they're going to continue to reshape it.
And our job is to try to
interpret and deliver.
Have a vision of that, try to anticipate, and then try to deliver it for them.
Should we expect a growing market for your types of communities?
You bet.
Good. Glad to hear that. Well, that's fascinating. I know I've learned a lot. I think that what we'd like to do now is invite our viewers to learn more about your organizations by going to, if you want to learn more about Greystone, you can go to www.greystonecommunities.com. A lot of good information there. Or check out the website for Senior Quality Lifestyles Corporation at www.sqlc.org. Remember that ORG part, that's very important. Well, John, Charlie, I wish we had more time. We just barely scratched the surface, but fascinating information. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Bet. Well, when we come back, Ashley Wessel will find out about Masterpiece Living in Texas. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.